Good morning. So today I'm here to talk about my new tripod and what I think is one of the best true traveller tripods. Now I've done other reviews on tripods such as this, which is the absolutely stunning Innerel tripod, and this is the GT324C, and it is absolutely fabulous and I use it all the time, and I'll put a link in the description up above to my review of that I still stand by. This is a brilliant tripod. What I'm here to talk about today is a true travel tripod. So there are lots of tripods that kind of class themselves as travel tripods, and they're just slightly smaller versions of that. And slightly lighter versions of that. And what I really needed and what I was looking for is something that is really small and really light, so that I can take it everywhere I go and I can take it on long journeys. Now this summer, going on a couple of really interesting adventures, so I really needed something that was very lightweight and compact, and this is what I found. So the Sirui 5C. Now if we look at this as a little package and then we compare it to this, okay, we can see, if I just stand back a little bit, we can see that there is a massive difference. It's about half the size to this tripod, and it's also less than half the weight. Now with travel tripods, obviously there are lots of pros and cons to it, and I'll get into that. But first of all, let's just have a look at the Sirui tripod. So it comes with this handy bag, and that's what's nice about the bag, is it's not thick and heavy like other tripod bags. You could use it to travel with to keep the dust off it, and this is it. So I'll just get my focus right. So that's the tripod. Tiny little thing, really small, really light, and really effective. So obviously the build quality is not the same as my Innerel tripods and as bigger tripods, but it enables you to take something with you all the time that's super light. You don't need to necessarily put it on the side of your bag. You could just put it inside your bag, and that's what I'm looking for. Something that's so lightweight that I can easily take it around wherever I go. So first of all, the legs. So if we have a look here, it's flipped around. So as I take it out and kind of instate it properly, you can see that it's got these locking mechanisms on the sides. Now these locking mechanisms, they click, and then you set it, and then as you go down, as you change your selection point, sorry, just get my focus right. As you change the selection point, you can see it clicks down to all the lower settings, and it locks into place. So next bit is the legs themselves. So these leg locks, although this is a really small diameter and this is a tiny diameter on the end. Oh, we got a train going by. The leg locks themselves are rubberized and really sturdy, and it makes it really easy to take out the legs. Now again, it's not as sturdy as the Innerel ones, okay, so this one is pretty good. It doesn't have that much movement. As you get down to this one, that's pretty good too, but these two have quite a lot of movement in them. If I wiggle this, you can just about see it against the sky. There's quite a lot of movement in that one, and the last one there is definitely quite a lot of movement. If I wiggle that leg, you can see it obviously going up and down, but once it's locked in, it is pretty secure and rigid. Okay, so the ball head that this comes with is really good. This is all metal. You've got a tightening knob, and you've got a normal Arca-Swiss plate knob. Now there's a couple of things that are problematic with it, but generally, I mean, if you twist this slightly, the idea is that then you should be able to do a pano like this. Okay, now this is the main flaw of the tripod ball head, because when you actually do that, you'll find that unless it's locked down like this, which is much harder to move, the top will wobble when you put the camera on. So you have to be very careful with this tension point. So if I put a camera on, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so now my camera's on. So I've got a Z7 with a 24-200 lens on it, this lens is pretty light. So when I'm locking it in, there's just a couple of things I need to be really careful of. So I'm just going to take you around here and show you. So the first thing is when if I wanted to do the pano, just as I was saying, at the moment the whole thing is completely locked. If I release it a small amount to do that pano, I can just about do that, but I would definitely hold on to your camera, because I'll be close by, because you can just about get that pano done by sliding it like this from side to side. It's pretty stiff, but you can just about do it. The problem is this: as soon as you extend the zoom or you touch the camera, it can fall over. So that's a little bit of an issue with this particular ball head, but it depends how many panos you're going to do. It's because it's a dual function knob on here. It doesn't work as well as having a separate pano. Now there is a newer tripod head that you can get that will allow you to have a panning knob as well, if you're really bothered by that. Personally, I'm not that bothered by that. If I'm going to do some detailed panos and I'm going to really take my time with my photography, or if I'm outside on the top of a mountainside with wind blowing everywhere, I would not be taking this tripod to do panos with. But overall, I think this ball head is well made, and it holds and locks in most positions. Well, nearly all positions, in fact, even when the camera is slanting down. So this isn't a very heavy camera, but it enables you to do a pretty good job. Taking it on and off the Arca Swiss quick release plate is really easy and straightforward, just like my inner rail tripod or any of the other tripods that you'd use. The grip here is much smaller, but that's part of being a travel tripod. So I'm going to talk about working height now. So this is 1.38 m with the column extended like this. It is 1.38 m to here. Okay, so you've got two parts of the column. So you've got that part, and you can also unscrew the column at the base and put this ball head on the base to get really down low if you wanted to. Now it's a fantastic function, that, and I'll go into why in a minute. But this is the working height of this tripod. So if I then if I just look at how that's going to be with the camera on it, with me standing next to it. Okay, so so first of all, I think the working height for a travel tripod is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we've got, sorry, I'll just move my camera. So this working height for a travel tripod is brilliant. I mean, if you're going to be using this tripod for long periods of time, it'd be a bit of a backbreaker. Okay, and if you wanted complete stability and high winds and things like that, you're going to find it really challenging. But I think the working height, I mean, I can flip out my screen here. I'm 6'3", and I can easily take a shot like this, or at worst, I can bend down like this and take a shot. Well, that's pretty good for such a small tripod. Of course, when you've got a center column and you've got a center column extended, the stability gets worse and worse. But I think it's pretty amazing for a travel tripod. Okay, so now we're going to look at cons of the tripod. So first of all, what I need to do to look at the cons is to compare it to another tripod. So I'm going to bring in my inner rail. Okay, Now, it's not a fair comparison, this, but the point is that this is more than twice as heavy, and it's twice the size. Just looking at this straight away, there are two things, the cons of, I would say, any travel tripod, but especially this one. I wouldn't leave it on its own. There are quite a few people online that talk about their tripod falling over and trashing their camera. I would never leave a camera on this kind of tripod on its own unless it was incredibly calm conditions, especially not near water or high wind or on a mountainside. So you need to use this tripod as a bit of a kind of prop for your photography. That means that you're doing something that you shouldn't really do for most tripods, but I would even weight it down a little bit and hold it down as I'm taking the photograph. For long exposure shots, that can make it quite difficult. What you really need to do for long exposure shots is sacrifice the height, take out the center column and attach it straight to the legs. Anything with long exposure, you want as little vibration as possible. Now, all that does is it just shortens it, so your working height is now going to be down here somewhere, which isn't a problem. You just crouch down. If you spread the legs out more, you'll get more stability. I still wouldn't leave it on its own. With travel tripods, I stay around them. So this tripod, there's no center column and its working height is already higher than this. So this working height is perfect for me. I have left this tripod on its own with the camera on it on many occasions, but it's a completely different beast. You can't really compare the two. So the accessories that come with it. So first of all, you get this little instruction booklet here. And in this instruction booklet there's a couple of Allen keys and the warranty for 6 years. So that's the first thing. Second thing you get is this clip. Now this clip is quite a nice little kind of metal clip. I don't know if you can just about see that. There we go. So there's the metal clip, and it hangs off a kind of key ring. And I find this key ring really irritating. It's supposed to go onto the bottom of the tripod here, and it's for clipping extra weight. I think this ring is a real design error, because if you're hanging lots of weight on a key ring, they can bend out of shape, whereas this is an aluminium hook. So for me, this is pretty useless, but for some of you, you might like to carry it on the hook. You might like to weigh the bag down. Second thing is this base plate. So you get a nice little base plate. I'll just see if I can get that in focus for you. Let's go again. So this base plate's great. My only little gripe about it is you need a screwdriver to tighten it up. It hasn't got a little hand grip, which is kind of annoying. But apart from that, it's perfect. Okay, so I'll put all the stats for this tripod on the screen right now. And you can see the working height, the packed height, the weight, and the other specifications for this tripod. So why don't we just take a travel tripod wherever we go? This is so much bigger, so much heavier. What's the point? So the one thing that's really, really important is vibration. And this solidity in the leg width here is a massive, creates a massive difference between these two tripods. Yeah, this is carbon fiber, but the weight of it and also the rigidity of this ball head is absolutely fantastic. This is the Leofoto LX40 ball head, and it is just brilliant. So reliable, never lets you down. This ball head is very, very small and quite difficult to manipulate, especially for things like panos. If you're doing long exposure sea photography, travel tripods are not great. You need to be really careful with them. If you're up on the top of a mountain trying to do a full pano, if you just want a lot of stability and you're doing anything to do with long exposure, travel tripods are going to be a little bit tricky for you. They're really, the reason that I would use them is for getting that stable shot and using the stability of the camera as well. So for instance, the classic thing to use a travel tripod for is you get to the top of the mountain and you want to take a telephoto view using 200mm. You get this out and it just aids your hand, and it just allows you to really compose your shot and think about your shot as you do with a tripod of this size, but it doesn't break your back carrying it. So I would say those are the main differences between them. Would I trust something this light with all my camera kit on it, walking around doing video work? No, not really. I would just use this to just steady my hand and try and do some kind of normal exposure shots to try and take out any vibration out of the shot, so that I can use a low ISO when I'm up on a mountainside. So I think if you needed something that involves filming where you can just let go of the camera and know that it will be okay, then really you need something like this. If you are doing very long exposure work where you've got a high contrast between what's in focus and what isn't in focus, i.e. rocks on sea, cloud movement, and then still land, you really need something bigger and more substantial for that. Having said all that, image stabilization in cameras has got to a point now where it allows you to take a photograph and it allows you to do a really good job. You just compromise slightly on your ISO and away you go. I will put a link to a video I've made up here about that, about using your camera in any conditions, and I really advocate that, but sometimes you just can't get away without using a tripod. So, in summary, if you need a very compact travel tripod that does a really good job, that will allow you to get on long distance journeys without really feeling that extra weight, then this one's probably the one for you. There are lots of compromised tripods, like for instance the K&F tripod I'm shooting on currently, which calls itself a travel tripod. So do Benro and Manfrotto and makes like that. But really, they haven't really got the compactness of this travel tripod. The only thing that comes close is the Peak design. Now, bearing in mind that this tripod, if you get it on offer, is about £60, maximum of 100 quid, and the Peak design tripod is at least 400 quid. I think you've got your answer there. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.